Gentlemen, welcome to the digital dialogue on Atmanirbharta in telecom manufacturing, brought to you by Broadband India Forum in association with our event partners, Bharat Exhibition. Today, we are very pleased to be gathered together for the launch of the Atmanirbhar paper developed by our Network Manufacturing Committee. Before we proceed to the formal event, let me also announce that in our drive to promote accessibility in the digital communication sector, we at Broadband India Forum have initially made our website completely accessible, benefiting persons with disabilities. We introduced the next step forward with sign language interpreters for all webinars and events. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome today Dr. Renuka Rameshan, the president of the Association of Sign Language Interpreters, Asli India, and her colleague, Mr. Saurav Roy Chaudhary, to do the interpretation for this important event. It is my pleasure to introduce them to you. Dr. Renuka Rameshan holds a PhD in social work and is a senior sign language interpreter trainer with an experience of 20 years in the field. Currently, she is also an executive member of the ISL-RTC, Indian Sign Language Research and Training Center. Accompanying her is Mr. Saurav Roy, who is a member of the Association of Sign Language Interpreters, India, and a freelance sign language interpreter. He has done his master's in extension and development studies and is proficient in English, Hindi, Bangla, Indian Sign Language, and the American Sign Language. And now to a few housekeeping announcements. There is a chat box at the bottom of the screen in case you wish to have and ask any questions, and you can do so, as well as you can raise your hand button, which is next to it, to indicate that you wish to have the floor. The moderator for the session today, which is Mr. Harish Krishnan, will then determine the opportunity to invite you to speak. Keeping your camera on is a matter of personal choice and convenience, except when speaking. However, in the event of a loss of bandwidth, my experience has been that switching off the camera helps. The event is being recorded and the link will be shared with all the participants to revisit and share should you wish to. There's also the facility of closed captions that may be enabled from the link in the lower bar. With these few announcements out of the way, it is my pleasure to hand you over to the moderator for the event, Mr. Harish Krishnan. Before I do so, I would like to just introduce Mr. Krishnan. Mr. Krishnan is the Managing Director of Public Affairs and Strategic Engagements in Cisco Systems, India and SAARC. An industry veteran of over 25 years, Mr. Harish Krishnan leads Cisco's strategic engagements with national and state governments of India on a wide range of public policy issues, and also manages Cisco's India External Advisory Board. He actively participates in key public policy forums in India and has earlier worked in leading roles in IBM and CII. With this, I shall now hand over to Mr. Harish Krishnan to take the proceedings forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Devu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, very warm welcome to the digital dialogue of the Broadband Forum of India. And today's topic, like what Devu said, is Atmanirbharta in telecom manufacturing. It is my special honor to welcome our eminent dignitaries, Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO of Niti Aayog, Mr. Sri T.K. Paul, Member Technology, Department of Telecommunications, and my colleagues from industry and other organizations represented here. As we began talking about today in the morning, when we started the proceedings, we're just stepping out of a severe second surge of COVID-19. I sincerely wish you and all your family and friends are safe and doing well in these testing times. I would like to acknowledge the terrific, selfless effort put both by industry, government, and non-government organizations in the face of this huge challenge to bring relief to hundreds of thousands of people who were affected by this dreadful disease. I would like to specially call out and acknowledge the tireless work done by our chief guest today, Mr. Amitabh Kant, and I have been personal witness to the stupendous work that he personally did to rally industry resources, deploy them very effectively across the length and breadth of India. May God bless you, sir, for this amazing effort that you continue to do. The second wave was much more closer to home for most of us in industry. All of us know someone who's been affected by this corona. It has not only caused disruption at a personal level, but also at the level of the economy and business. But I'm glad to see there are already green shoots happening and of growth happening. The key, of course, would be to vaccinate and maintain COVID protocols. I would request each one of us in the industry to join hands with the government in this vaccination program, use our CSR funds. Mr. Kant has also been encouraging us to do more communication on COVID appropriate behaviors, which is something all of us should continue to do to ensure that we do not have a third wave of COVID. Today's topic is Atmanirbharta in telecom, and the government has clarified that Atmanirbharta is not self-isolation, but a great integration with the global supply chain. And I've been following this space for a number of years now, and I see three clear changes in the policy-making approach. One, there is a great amount of introspection of gaps in policy and openness to gather new ideas. This can be seen increasingly in the consultative approach to policy making. Secondly, from a short-term approach, there is a medium to long-term approach in policy making. And in the past, we used to always look at, can we become an IT superpower or hardware manufacturing superpower in 2 years? But now clearly the government is thinking of a higher, longer range of 5 years and beyond. And thirdly, most importantly, the focus is shifting from import substitution to export-led manufacturing. The production-linked incentive scheme is definitely a game changer and embodies the essence of the change in policy-making approach. The 5-year scheme, it is a 5-year scheme. It is focused on exports. It welcomes both global and domestic companies with a large corpus of incentives. There is almost $8 billion that is reserved just for the ICT sector. While the PLI scheme is a step in the right direction, more, of course, needs to be done. For India to become a global hub for electronics and telecom, India needs to adopt a 360-degree approach, including welcoming component ecosystem, infrastructure like logistics and transportation, innovation and R&D, skilled workforce, and most importantly, ease of doing business. We also need to synergize the PLI scheme with the PMI scheme to make both the schemes work even better. In conclusion, the idea of digital dialogue today is to encourage a rich exchange of ideas to make India a global player in telecom. BIF has collated industry perspectives and prepared a white paper we believe would augment government efforts towards growth of the sector. With these words, now it is my pleasure to invite TV Ramachandran, President of Broadband India Forum, to share his views. TV needs no introduction, an esteemed industry veteran. We call him the Bhishma Pitama of our telecom industry. And TV has been part of the mobile telephony sector in India since its very inception. As first CEO of Sterling Cellular in Delhi, having established and led COI for 12 years. He's also the honorary fellow of IET London, global advisory member of IET Future Tech Panel. TV, over to you.
Thank you, Harish. That bit about Bhishma Pitama bothers me a lot always, because that means, like Bhishma, I'll have to spend 25 days or 25 years on a bed of arrows. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Respected chief guest, Mr. Amitabh Kant, special guest of honor, Mr. T.K. Paul, esteemed panelists, esteemed friends of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues. It's on behalf of Broadband India Forum, it is a real great pleasure to welcome you all again and to say a few words on this occasion. I'm supposed to say only a few words. No question of, they have a lot of thunder between them, Amit Marwa and Harish and Subrat. I'm not going to touch that thunder. So they will talk about the white paper and handle all the other aspects. I just want to say a few general words on this occasion. At the outset, I would like to say that the concept of self-sufficiency or Atmanirbharta is absolutely not new to this world or to our country. In fact, particularly for our country, We all know that the great father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, his freedom struggle pivoted on two aspects, which were very, very fundamental. One was Atmanirbharta, and the other one was non-violence. So that is very much a part of our DNA. And he considered it the greatest wealth that a nation can have, could aspire for even. And the renaissance of this beautiful concept is what we are seeing playing out now with the government motivating and driving everybody. And this has caught the enthusiasm and the fancy of the entire nation. Like Harish said, Mr. Amitabh Kant is one of the super champions of this concept. And we are indeed most fortunate to have him as our chief guest today. We could not have found a more appropriate person. And we're also extremely fortunate to have Mr. Paul, Member T from DOT with us, because it is Member T and his department who have crafted the Telecom PLI policy and are still working on many aspects, interacting with all of us and continuously listening to us and fine-tuning the policies. So it's a real pleasure to have them here. And today we're all gathered here to pay a small tribute to this concept of Atmanirbharta in the telecom sector specifically. The telecom sector, Indian telecom sector, we all know, since its very inception, has been almost overwhelmingly dependent on imports. Much more earlier, but even now it is a very high percentage of imports. Telecom requirements are imported. In terms of money value, it cost us about 2 lakh crores in 2020. But if you view it in the holistic perspective, this represents less than 5% of the country's oil imports and only about 3.8% of the total imports. So some people might tend to think that this is not all that important. It should not bother us. But we in Broadband India Forum do not think so. We believe that while the number may look small, this is of great strategic importance for the country to be more self-reliant, particularly in telecom, which is a key economic sector. So hence in BIF, we are completely dedicated to the Atmanirbharta mission of the government. And we have a very active and enthusiastic manufacturing committee represented here by Amit Marwa, the chairman, and the co-chairman, Harish Krishnan and Subrat Mitra. They're all sparing no stone unturned to explore all aspects of this important concept. The BIF and committee participated also very vigorously in the DOT's discussions on PLI and contributed many inputs into that. And we are still continuing to work closely with them. We think there are ways of optimizing the current policy even further, and the team is working towards that. We honestly believe that the idea of Atmanirbharta is to leverage the global ecosystem and innovations and to build on our competence, not get into an ivory towers issue or an isolationist issue. We want to build world-class manufacturing and supply chain leadership. For that, we need enabling laws and policies alongside voluntary incentive-led schemes to propel investments in infrastructure. And those investments can be huge in the way we are growing in telecom and the future that is there in 5G and 6G. So this approach is the only sustainable way to make India the preferred destination for investment and a long-term pivotal player in the global supply chain. I will not take up more of your time. These are only a few introductory remarks. And I would like to close here once again while reaffirming our resolve to attain full Atmanirbharta in telecom. And I thank you all for coming and honoring us today here with your participation. And in particular, once again, I thank our chief guest, Shri Amitabh Kant, and our special guest of honor, Shri Paul. Thanking you, wishing you all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, TV. On a very lighter note, You're also called Bhishma Pitama because being in the telecom industry, you've been sleeping in a bed of arrows for 25 years. So that is also reason we call you Bhishma Pitama. I now have the pleasant duty to invite all our eminent guests to join us in virtually releasing the white paper. So Seema, if you can have the video, please be great.
Many thanks to respected Chief Guest Sri Amitabh Kant, CEO Niti Aayog, and special guest of honor Sri T.K. Paul, Member T, Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunications, for releasing an industry white paper on Atmanirbharta in Telecom Manufacturing. This industry white paper is an initiative of Broadband India Forum's Manufacturing Network Committee, chaired by Mr. Amit Madhwa of Nokia, and co-chaired by Mr. Harish Krishnan of Cisco and Mr. Subrata Kumar Mitra of Ericsson. Highlights of the white paper will be presented by Mr. Amit Madhwa after the release of the white paper.
Thank you very much for everyone for joining in this launch. I would like to now invite my industry colleague, Amit Madhwa, who is also the chairman of the Broadband Forum of India's Manufacturing Network Committee. He has spearheaded this creation of this white paper. I would request Amit to share his views with us. Amit is head of marketing and corporate affairs of Nokia India. He's been at Nokia for over 28 years of experience in technology, not only Nokia, in pre-sales, sales strategy, regulatory and business management positions. He represents Nokia on topics related to standardization, spectrum management, digital outreach, CSR, government relations, and other industry engagements. He had earlier held technology leadership roles in Lucent, Motorola, and Huawei. So over to you, Amit.
Thanks, Harish. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And gratitude from my side also to Mr. Kant and Mr. Paul for joining us. As the chairman of the Broadband Manufacturing Committee, it is my pleasure to give you a little bit of a short presentation on the Atmanirbhar paper that we constructed, and I will share my screen and bring up a presentation. So we have tried to put together the key highlights of this paper. To start with, we all know, and I think this is something that is known to all of us. 12th May 2020 was when the Honorable Prime Minister had unleashed or started the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan with a promise to do 20 lakh crores or 10% of India GDP towards economic packages around this. The key objectives, as we all know, was to create India as a preferred destination for investment. I think this is also known. And the last point, this is not translate to isolation or protectionism. It is something to make India a global leader, has been already said by TV and Harish. The Atmanirbhar Abhiyan itself is under, and I think Mr. Kant has been one of the architects of the concept of this Atmanirbhar, and it is absolutely brilliant, working around what we call the 5 I's: intent, inclusion, infrastructure, investment, and innovation. And if you look at these 5 I's, most of these 5 I's, but particularly inclusion, which is to do with the reduce the digital divide using technology, or infrastructure of creating a strong digital infrastructure, and innovation of creating a collaborative ecosystem, which is very important, especially now and when we are standing at the anvil of 5G. So these are things which are very relevant and very important from a telecom perspective. And if I look at how we can contribute towards the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan, is, I believe, in these 3 areas. Economic impact. Yes, we have already said the Digital India Plan. Again, Mr. Kant has been a key architect of that. Could boost telecom itself, or digitalization could boost up to 1 trillion by 2025 into the economy in the dream of India. But if you look at telecom itself, and we say that telecom has reached a level of maturity, there is still much more to do here. There are still 500 million broadband subscribers which are not on true wireless. So there is still potential of growth in even connecting more people on the real broadband. There is still opportunity to connect more rural and create a higher rural density, which is still sitting at 55%. So within the sector itself, there is enough opportunity. But I think what is more important and coming now, in fact, I would say that the pandemic has actually created an environment and a realization how important telecom infrastructure has been in this last 1.5 years to the whole world and especially to India. What we have built in the last 25 years as a robust infrastructure for telecom has actually given fruit, I think, in the last 1.5 years, when everything that we have been able to do by using broadband as a technology, whether it was on mobile or whether it was on fixed, of having our schools at home, our shopping at home, our entertainment at home, our e-commerce at home, and everything at home. And going forward, I think this is the important pillar to create or shorten the digital divide and create a huge social impact, because going forward, telecom is going through a revolution, and it will get to a revolution with 5G coming. This impact on the social economic fabric of India will have multi-fold increase as we move ahead into the 5G world. And last but not the least is the environmental impact. And by the environmental impact, I mean, I'll give you two very simple examples. One is that now with the advent of technology, when we move from 2G to 4G and now to 5G, the same base station site is able to give you from 1x to 4x to maybe 15x of capacity. So that means you need lesser equipment and you need more greener equipment that you can put to give much more capacity. So that is one example. But I think the more important example, which I love, is that technology can help you save time. Technology can help you travel less. Technology can help and create an impact on less pollution, less fossil fuel usage, etc., etc. So environmental impact is very important. And like I said, telecom is the core. 5G will become an important pillar, and it will, I don't want to go into all the sectors, but these are just listed few sectors where the impact is going to be felt multifold and much more in the coming years. The PLI scheme has been already touched upon by Harish and TV, but I will just say that we were fortunate to be among the 10 champion sectors, and only last Friday the PLI scheme has officially been notified for telecom. We as an industry welcome it. I think not only being as a multinational manufacturer, but also on behalf of the domestic manufacturers, this is an extremely, extremely positive step. I think this will help to offset the disability we had in terms of a cost when we were importing or things that, but there are still things that can be done. I think the PLI scheme is a great step. I think it has been it's been through a very, very consultative process along with DOT. In my 20 years with working with in the telecom industry, I think this has been one of the most consultative project that has been, or policy that has been, and everybody has loved it. So thank you for that. Having said that, I think there is still some suggestions that we would like to make, especially on the PLI scheme. One of the things could be, if a company participates in the PLI scheme, for instance, do they get market access into the Indian market or the government buying capacities, which are so far restricted. So there are some suggestions that are there in the paper, and we would like to put that across. And on top of that, I think PLI is on manufacturing, but there is another huge opportunity which is sitting there for us by way of this huge explosion of Internet of Things that is coming very soon, and especially with 4G or 4.9G and now going to 5G, where trillions and trillions of devices will need to be connected. So there is a huge opportunity for India here to step up, to step in, to take some of this manufacturing capability, which will be required across the world, and make India the leader in supplying these kind of devices, and not just phones, which we are already doing, not just telecom equipment, which we will do with the PLI, but even going ahead, looking at sensors and IoT devices and other value adds that we can do on use cases of 5G, for instance. The other important aspect is also on the PM Vani, which has also been launched a few months ago, which also will unleash a huge ecosystem of Wi-Fi. And I think that is another opportunity that we will see happening for the telecom industry. I think this is my last slide, but I think this is where I would like to spend a couple of minutes on the key recommendations that have been made on the paper. One of the important things for telecommunication, in fact, the land or the real estate of telecom is the spectrum. Now, and that is, it is important to have sufficient amount of spectrum. It is important to have good quality of spectrum. It is important to have a good price of the spectrum. Gone are the days when spectrum needs to be looked at something that was generating revenue for the government by way of fees or licenses. I think it needs to be now looked at an enabler, which will be enabling the new technology and the new economy for India and the world. So I think those are things that we need to be conscious about while this next spectrum auction happens, especially on 5G. The other areas that we have highlighted in the paper include increase in R&D spend, a recommendation. I think we are doing a little bit, but much more needs to be done. The IP contribution of India to the world, the standardization bodies where we are contributing in 3GPP and others is still very limited. I think we need to enhance that. Skill development, especially with this 5G as a technology coming, is another area which is going to be very, very important and very, very critical for us. Manufacturing IoT M2M, I already touched upon how big this opportunity is. E-band, V-band, these are newer technologies on microwave, which will also unleash, and it is important to get them going in the country very, very quickly. This is another recommendation. And the other last one, which is again, as I said, around the PMA and the PLI policy, is about market access. Market access in the form where, as of now, the value addition criteria in telecom are something which are extremely stringent. I think there is room to improve that further. Linking it to PLI is one of the options. Some of the things that MeitY has done are something that DoT can adopt. For instance, the device ecosystem or the fab ecosystem that you require for telecommunication manufacturing is so advanced in nature that the chips that you get, it is going to be very difficult and take very long to get that fab ecosystem into the country. So this needs to be looked at different. What MeitY had done was that if you are manufacturing a PCB in true manufacturing sense, then whatever goes on that PCB, if those components are not available in India, then give the entire value addition for that PCB. They have done it for the servers and the laptops, etc. I think something like that on telecom would be good to do. And again, one more point is that if we do manufacturing in India, as my company or any other company, we might be making hundreds of products. We will not be able to manufacture all the 100 in India. So is there a possibility to look at that, which are the big ticket items, which are the items which are giving the large volumes, and manufacture those in India, but give the company a deemed status for being eligible for PMA, or give them a point system which can be used against the manufacturing that they are doing. So those are ideas that are also put in the paper, and we would, of course, this paper, we would welcome more deliberation and debate on it. With that, I think, thank you very much for this opportunity. And this is the paper that we have released, and I look forward to having an engaged discussion on the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amit, for trying to bring everything in to talk about the big canvas of items in the 10 minutes that you had. This white paper is pretty compelling, and we will make it available to all the participants to have views on it and then reply, especially to our Mr. Kant and to Mr. Paul. It is now my honor to invite our guest of honor, Sri T.K. Paul, Member Technology, Department of Telecommunications, to address the audience. He's a 1982 ITS officer. He's a career spanning over 3 decades, wherein he has served in various capacities in the DOT, including important position in term, BSNL as Director General of Telecom, a management graduate from MDI Gurgaon. Is well conservant in all the activities of DOT as well as licensing, security, national broadband mission, disaster management, etc., and is responsible for implementation of DOT policies in the field. Mr. Paul, you're coming at a very important and crucial time into this job. The industry looks forward to working with you. I now yield the floor to you for your speech. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate Broadband India Forum for organizing the event of releasing the study paper on Atmanirbharta in telecom manufacturing and providing me an opportunity to share my views. I would like to acknowledge the effort put by telecom service providers, infrastructure service providers, especially OEMs, that despite being supply chain disruptions, for providing resilient infrastructure and efficient delivery of services in this pandemic situation, which kept us stay connected digitally, globally, everywhere. Now, indeed, self-sufficiency in telecom manufacturing is the need of the hour. The pandemic has resulted in digital transformation in the way of working of both daily life and business operations. People prefer to avail all the services online, whether it is e-commerce, e-health, tele-education, e-governance, etc. And industries are also moving towards digitization of assets and operations to realize the potential. To improve customer experience, new emerging technologies such as 5G, AI, big data analytics, cloud computing, IoT devices, AR, VR, etc. have been utilized extensively in the market. The successful implementation and utilization of this technology depends on capacity and features of underlying telecom infrastructure, BTS, core transmission equipment, antenna system, routers, switches, CPEs, IoT devices, satellite device ecosystem, etc. In other words, we can say that telecom sector is the backbone of digital India. As new technologies emerge, the opportunity to build or develop a new device ecosystem also opens up. By taking a lead in this, India can take benefit of all economic opportunity costs. Now, when we see our telecom sector service, it contributes of around 6 to 7% of Indian GDP. As per ET Telecom, Indian telecom exports are 1/10 of imports. Presently, 85% of country's demand of telecom equipment is made through imports only. So there is a wide gap with the telecom. There is a wide gap, and TRAI recommendation has said that it should be zero import of gears by 2022, which is a far dream. A typical telecom device development ecosystem includes system design, chipset manufacturing, and system assembly and testing. In terms of global value, system design and chipset design contribute significantly higher than the mere assembly of the components. As per WTO report on global supply chain, our contribution is only 0.15% for telecom equipment and 0.068 for IC and components. Hence, Atmanirbharta in telecom sector is design-driven manufacturing to also take care of our strategic needs. Now, I will tell about some government initiatives. Our NDCP 2018 policy emphasizes on local manufacturing and value addition by maximizing India's contribution to global supply chain by focusing on domestic production, increasing export, and reducing the import burden. The policy also envisages to expand IoT ecosystem to 5 billion connected devices, make available universal broadband connectivity of 50 Mbps to every citizen, to enable fixed line broadband access to 50% of households, the deployment of 10 million public Wi-Fi hotspots by 2022. Now, already you have told about this PMI and PLI, so I will not go through that. But department has provide incentives with a huge outlay of 12,195 crores over the 5 years. We have also provided 5G test bed across the country where one can simply make the equipment and test them in those 5G test beds. Then there is we are doing this simplification of manufacturing and testing license. This license of various experimental, whether radiating or non-radiating, is going to be automatized very soon. Similarly, facility is also available for laboratory R&D or demonstration, all those things. PM WANI already we have talked about, so I will not mention that. Now the advantage I need not tell, but I will mention some of this thing, that we should have a sustainable supply chain. Absence of fabrication and component ecosystem has left India to depend on other countries for import of components. Presently, 85% of countries' demand for telecom equipment is met through imports. COVID-19 pandemic has affected the global supply chain badly. This has resulted in the increase in the cost of devices because of raised demand in comparison of supply. This is the right time for us to take lead and fulfill the domestic requirement. Global telecom and networking product exports represent a $100 billion market opportunity, which can also and should be exploited by India. Drive innovation. Every country has its own geography and specific needs. With sufficient manufacturing ecosystem in India, will drive industries to think innovatively to realize its solution as per the need of the country. Robust security. If we are able to manufacture indigenously, the security part automatically is taken care of, and it eliminates the security concern of government and our industry members. Then employment generation is always there. More manufacturing, more employment will be there. What is way forward? Way forward is design-led manufacturing by leveraging indigenous software. R&D capabilities should be promoted instead of just assembly-led manufacturing. From the perspective of the development of the device ecosystem, system and chip design contributes to a significant portion of overall value chain. If India exploits that part of ecosystem, India can be an effective partner in the global market. Now, second is collaboration among the companies, which can help to develop an end-to-end ecosystem of any technology such as 5G, satellite, their parts, etc. Third is India has the largest user base for telecom services. There will be a continuous demand of telecom infrastructure to expand and upgrade this network. New initiative will also drive significant demand for hardware manufacturing in the country for programs such as PM WANI. We all should work together to make India a design-led manufacturing hub for telecom sector related products, and should deliver products globally at competitive cost and quality. To realize the aim of Atmanirbharta fully, government and industry both have to work together because merely making a policy or launch of a scheme will not solve the problem. The implementation of the same is very, very critical. Let us work together to make India's telecom sector a development and manufacturing hub as soon as possible. I congratulate you all and I thank you for making me a part of this successful event, and I am looking forward to have a continued collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Paul, for that very comprehensive speech again, and for underlining the collaboration between industry and government. We look forward to this very consultative conversation with DOT, because like I said, the number of issues that are at play at this point in time. It is now my great privilege to invite Shri Amitabh Kant, our CEO, our chief guest for the evening, the CEO of NITI Aayog. I've had the personal privilege of knowing Mr. Kant for over 25 years, right from his days in the Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation. And my first memory always is of him speaking on the phone to someone in Malayalam, and I was quite surprised by that. I've not met a more committed, passionate, and hardworking person in my professional career. He brings passion to every job he does and leaves the imprint. Whether it is the God's Own Country campaign, or the Incredible India campaign, or the Make in India campaign, or the work that he did in DMIDC, or providing relief to the COVID affected recently. He leaves an indelible mark. He's been a friend, philosopher, and guide to the industry, always very positive, and leaves you with a lot of energy after each conversation with him. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome our own incredible Amitabh Kant to deliver his address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The COVID-19 pandemic has been extremely disruptive in terms of economic activity and loss of human lives across the globe. At the same time, this crisis has presented us with unique opportunities that can be leveraged to build back differently and innovatively. India's urban population will double in the next decade. More than 500 million people will live in Indian cities, and there will be a need for a very rapid growth, which will pose several social, economic, and environmental challenges. This is also an opportunity for India to take the lead to build new industries that will accelerate growth and create jobs. This transformation is feasible when we advance technology, foster innovation, and become champions in emerging areas of global growth. If you look at Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and in recent times, China, they focused on sunrise sectors. They unleashed a wave of reforms and embraced innovation to grow on sustained basis for long periods. And I think, to my mind, in India, the key to a disruptive transformation lies in getting into sunrise areas of growth, and telecommunication has been recognized as a very important tool, not merely for advancement, but also for socio-economic transformation. India is the second largest telecom market in the world, with over about 1.2 billion wireless connections, and has the world's second largest number of mobile subscriptions. It is the fastest growing broadband market in the world, with over almost 747 million broadband users. And according to analysts, the Digital India plan could boost GDP by about 1 trillion by 2025. In fact, growth in digital infrastructure and with steep rise in offtake of broadband services could lead to digital economy achieving 1 trillion by 2024. And this could give a major thrust to India's economy. And therefore, this sector can play a very key role in macroeconomic factors such as growth, employment generation, labor productivity, growth, revenue for the government. But one of the key things that is happening in this sector is the transformation that will take place on account of the fifth generation mobile network technology, which will radically transform the world of communication, mobile technologies, and flow of data. 5G will make a paradigm shift, moving people, this will be such a huge paradigm shift, moving beyond the traditional cellular ecosystem to interconnect people, control devices and objects and machines, and ensure faster and better communications. It is going to be the backbone for the Industrial Revolution 4.0, for the revolution in artificial intelligence, blockchain, and all the emerging technologies. Now, India was substantially late in exploring 2G, 3G, and 4G technologies. We were late and we lose an opportunity. Now, 5G will bring new capabilities that will create opportunities for people, business, society. The user experience data rate, the data rate will see a 10x jump. The spectrum efficiency will be 3x higher. The latency in milliseconds 10 times better. And it will connect 10 lakh devices per kilometer square as compared to mere 1 lakh in 4G. It will drive Internet of Things technology, carrying huge amounts of data and enable a smarter and a more connected world. If, as has been said, if big data is the new oil in the digital era, then 5G is the set of pipes that will deliver it. And due to massive density across devices and connectivity across sectors, all this, some of these issues will have several concerns, but it's very important that we use technology to leapfrog. And my personal view is that with a steadily rising number of broadband users, there's an ever-growing demand for stronger digital infrastructure. And strong digital infrastructure is imperative not only in urban, but also in rural areas to revolutionize communications, e-commerce, and industry. And it will help to create a very favorable environment for the expansion and adoption of all the new age technologies. Now, the unprecedented increase in tele-density and a sharp decline in tariffs in the Indian telecom sector have contributed significantly to the country's economic growth. But it's important that to understand that the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat is not about being protectionist. It's about making India an integral part of the global supply chain. And that is why this package was accompanied by economic reforms, a huge amount of reforms. It was accompanied by infrastructure building, by support to, focus on local manufacturing. And the key point was to strengthen the economy, reduce its dependence, give a boost to exports, and make the country a dynamic powerhouse of manufacturing and exports. And therefore, one of the schemes which was conceptualized, and it was conceptualized in Niti Aayog, was a production-linked incentive scheme. We've taken several measures, taken the measure to reduce corporate taxes. They've been brought down for new investments to 15% and overall to 22%. We have taken measures to improve, bring down about almost 22 labor acts into just 4 labor codes. And one of the key schemes has been this PLI scheme, where the objective is really to make the companies grow in size and scale. And for a period of 5 years, provide incremental, as long as you keep doing incremental sales on the production, we will keep supporting you as you grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And therefore, the objective is that subject to the achievement of minimum threshold of cumulative incremental investment and sales, we will keep supporting you for the next 5 years, and you keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger. That's the intention. Provide size and scale. And this gives you the ability to become, provide all the backward forward linkages. And the eligible products under the telecom PLI scheme are core transmission equipment, 4G, 5G, next generation RAN and wireless equipment, access and customer premises equipment, IoT access devices, and other wireless equipment and enterprise equipment like switches, routers, etc. And we give incentive calculated on incremental sales of manufactured goods over the base level. And objective is that with this is a unique scheme which provides almost close to 12,195 crores for the telecom sector over the next 5 years. And with these huge incentives, both global and domestic manufacturers must invest in India to enhance their manufacturing capabilities and cater to both the domestic and international demand. Because India cannot remain an importing nation where we become, on telecom, we become the biggest importers in the world. It's not possible. And therefore, more than, if you look at it, if we do not intervene and all of you don't start manufacturing here, this sector and the telephony sector will end up having more imports than what we do in the petroleum sector in the next 5 years. And therefore, if India is the second largest telecom market, and with telecom service providers moving towards 5G technology and next generation emerging technologies, domestic manufacturing must play a very pivotal role to set up the digital communication infrastructure in the country. And we are today importing more than 50,000 crore, and we should really back it up with a huge effort at Make in India. And I'm quite sure that given the huge interest that has been seen in the electronics sector, where PLI has shown a huge motivation for investment, and all the top companies of the world have invested in India. And therefore, the current scheme is a wonderful opportunity for developing telecom manufacturing in India, a vision that has been unfulfilled for the country and is a key building block of making India Atmanirbhar in the digital communication sector. And we are all willing to partner the industry. We are all willing to ensure that this opportunity is well utilized. This requires a collaborative approach of the government and the industry together. I'm sure that all of you will collaborate with India to use this opportunity to make India the manufacturing and the telecom manufacturing hub of both the India, and not merely manufacture for India, but make India the hub for exports from here. We are here to provide you all support. I've been a regular participant in the Broadband India Forum, which I think is a true think tank for digital transformation. It has played a very key, very significant role. And I've always come back enriched by participating in its interactions and discussions. And I'm sure all of you will lead India to become a great manufacturing nation in the telecom sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kant, for those very positive words and for the kind words for Broadband Forum of India. As always, a very, very positive and energizing speech. And thank you for championing the PLI scheme, because it has been a brilliant scheme, because as you rightly mentioned, it focuses on production throughput, it focuses on exports, and really gets people interested in India. Sir, we've got a couple of questions from the floor. If you've got a few minutes time, can we take a couple of questions?
Sure, take 2 questions.
Okay, all right. I'll take 2 questions. One is a point that even Amit brought out in this in his presentation. It was about the fact that telecom is pretty unique, and therefore, it's impossible to manufacture all the products, and most companies are going to manufacture a few products at global scale and export, which is also the government's objective. But then it does not permit us to, compete for the procurement of government projects. So we're looking for a linkage between the exports and the PMI policy. And this is something that we have spoken to you about, and we really would like.
I've got the representation, and we'll early next week we are calling you for a discussion on this to find a solution. We quite realize that everything cannot be manufactured. The theory of there has to be a theory of competitive advantage. What we are good at, we should manufacture. What we are not good at, we should not. But More than that, there are certain intermediate products which get into the end manufacturing products, and intermediate products, if they're produced somewhere cheaper, they can be brought in and put as a part of the end product. All these issues we have examined. So we'll call you for a discussion in the next couple of days, and we'll try and find a solution to this problem.
Thank you very much, sir. The other question that has come is on the FTA with ASEAN countries and how most of the component manufacturers are setting up base there and taking advantage of the FTA. So, your recommendation on how to rectify this anomaly. And secondly, if you look at value addition, one other way to increase value addition would be to get some of the global majors to source from India. For example, Cisco as a company, we source $12 billion of components from around the world. We're always looking at de-risking certain geographies, and that is a concern for the industry. Therefore, what are your thoughts on developing a component ecosystem in India and then building the industry bottom up, like where you build top down too?
No, it's very important to build the component industry. Firstly, I don't think manufacturing companies must realize that we are in a globalized world. And in globalized world, today there are FTAs, there are trading relationships, there are bilateral trading relationships, and this fear of saying that everything is getting imported through FTA countries is not a correct approach. Important thing is that you first do manufacturing, bring size and scale, become globally competitive so that you can penetrate global markets. Problem is that Indian manufacturing companies spread protectionism, and then they talk about you are the people who start talking, Indian companies start promoting protectionism. Every time India has grown when exports have grown. And therefore it's very important that India allows global competition to take place, and Indian companies must have the guts and the courage to take on global competition. And therefore, it's very important that you people do not start promoting protectionism. And this is very, very important. As long as you are globally competitive, you will penetrate global markets. And so also important to understand that global markets, you get 5x the value of what you get in the domestic market. And therefore, Indian companies must look at exports and use India as a hub for penetrating global markets. And whether you like it or not, over a period of time, you will see that FTAs will happen between different blocks, and if India keeps out of it, we will lose huge opportunities also. And therefore, it's very incumbent upon Indian companies to actually realize that you may benefit in one sector, but by not promoting FTA with Europe, our textile exporters are losing there. So you have to, it's a give and take in different areas. You will give somewhere, take somewhere, you will benefit. It's a comprehensive relationship. My suggestion only is that you should look at becoming a global player and use India. Now that we've reduced corporate tax to 15%, now that we've done away with a lot of labor laws, now that massive reforms have been carried out, and now that there is a production-linked incentive scheme, you should look at manufacturing many of the components here. And this is a right opportunity to actually penetrate global value chains, because global value chains are in a state of flux. They are moving away from one country and they're looking for alternative opportunities. They're looking for alternative locations. And therefore, this is the opportunity for India. If we do not seize this opportunity now, we'll never be able to seize it again. And therefore, this is the opportunity really to establish change here. Whatever we can do for that, we'll be very happy to support.
Thank you very much, sir, for quite underlying that Atmanirbhar and Atma Vishwas go together, and we should take the world in our own terms and come out trumps. So thanks for that point of view. I'd like to now conclude by asking...
This would require all of the telecom companies also to have Atma Vishwas.
I would now like to invite my colleague Subrata Mitra, who is the co-chair of the BIF Manufacturing Committee and is also the vice president and head of government and industry relations of Ericsson India, to deliver the vote of thanks. So, Subrata, over to you.
Thank you, Harish. Honorable Shri Amitabh Kant, respected Shri T.K. Paul, Mr. TVR, our most valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Broadband India Forum and the entire Manufacturing Network Committee, on my own behalf, extend a hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing the digital dialogue and sharing with us your thoughts today. A big thank you to Sri Amitabh Kant, CEO Niti Aayog, for sparing his time today. His message that digital infrastructure is critical for transformation of all sections of Indian economy is a clarion call for the industry. Thank you, sir. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Sri T.K. Paul for his encouraging words for the industry. Further, we are grateful to Dr. Renuka and Mr. Saurav for enabling this dialogue becomes accessible for everyone. Our sincere thanks to the wonderful audience who joined us today for this dialogue and for your comments on the chat and for your questions. I'd like to express our sincere thanks to Sri T.V. Ramchandran for his leadership in Broadband India Forum, for his guidance and for encouraging this much needed dialogue. I also wish to express my gratitude to the entire BIF Secretariat for supporting us with the perfect logistic support for organizing this dialogue while we are all working from home. Thank you again. And last, my thanks to Amit Marwa, Chair of Manufacturing Network Committee, and my fellow colleague Harish Krishnan, and also my fellow co-chair for their enormous contribution and cooperation in organization of this dialogue and in the preparation of the white paper. Thank you. We thank you all for being us this evening. Please continue to remain safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I think with that, we come to the close of the proceedings today. TVR, with your permission, can we declare the meeting closed? You have the last word always.
Thank you, Harish. Thank you, Mr. Khan. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Wonderful of you all to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, Debu.
Thank you, TV sir. Thanks, Harish. Thanks, Amit.
Good night.
Thanks,
Saurabh, Dr. Renuka.
Dr. Renuka, Dr. and Saurabh. Thank you so much.
I know you're very fast, but